You're just too pretty to not have a boyfriend. I'm too pretty to have the life force drained out of me by a toxic relationship, actually. I'm 24 years old and I have never had a boyfriend. The horror, I know. Telling people this literally never gets old because the shock on their faces, it never gets old. Online, the community of never had a boyfriend, never had a girlfriend, girls or boys too, is actually very big. You would be surprised. It's very normalized, but in real life, ooh, honey, you are a social outcast. There must be something wrong with her, is what I'm sure they're all saying. And to be honest, maybe there is. Hyper-independence, avoidant attachment. It could possibly be all these things. As somebody who's very self-aware, it would literally be impossible for me to not even acknowledge that those things are a possibility of what's going on with me. However, I also just have to admit that I get so much joy from being alone because I like my own company, which is something that most people don't like. Even the thought of going on a little solo date for other people is literally unheard of. You go to the movies by yourself? Oh my God, that's so interesting. You do realize that you spend your whole life with yourself. People come and go. Even the person that you marry is not going to be there 24/7. But you, honey, 24/7. It's you until you're in that grave, babe. So wouldn't you want to get comfortable with yourself and with being alone? Because it's really hard to live your life hating yourself 24/7. And I would argue that it takes just as much effort to hate yourself as it does to love yourself. Life is hard, so choose your heart. And I choose the option that is going to benefit me, which is loving myself. Because a lot of you guys are not going to like this, but most of you are codependent. You can't do anything by yourself. You need to realize that a relationship is not going to save you. Another person is not your savior. And relationship problems are almost always single problems. What do I mean by that? Relationship problems are a lot of times issues in either both or one person that you have not dealt with in the time that you were single. Jealousy, possessiveness, anxious attachment. The list goes on. And I refuse to be in a toxic relationship. I want to be the absolute healthiest version of myself before I get into a relationship. No, I'm not saying you need to be perfect and that you can't date if you have problems, because you're always going to have problems. Problems are just a part of life. Problems are a sign that you're alive. I do not believe in rushing into anything, especially relationships. You people are under spells. Okay, but seriously. Also, I have big dreams. The way that my brain works, why am I going to pour all of my time into a relationship before I have the career that I want, the money that I want, literally everything in my life? I would rather focus on that. Like, if I don't have my life together, why am I focusing on dating? And with me having such big goals, I also believe if it doesn't add to my life, then why would I bring it into my life? If it doesn't make me a better person, I don't want it. And I'm sorry, but the way that you all talk about your relationships, or I'm sorry, your situationships, and how horrible they make you feel, and the things and the anguish that you go through, why would I want to experience that? Why would you want me to experience that when I am happy being single and on my own? I can go wherever I want. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, and I don't have somebody else to check in with. Now, this isn't me saying that I want to be single forever. It's just saying that I like being single, and I'm okay with being single for as long as I have to be, until the person that is absolutely right for me and that I feel is right for me deep down comes along. I have accepted that I would be okay with being single for the rest of my life, until I die. And I would be okay with that. I would be happy with that, because I really have found peace with who I am, and I would be happy with spending the rest of my life with myself. Maybe a few cats and dogs. Like, genuinely, the idea of being the rich aunt that travels the world, has pets, is always going on cool experiences and adventures, and just has so many stories to tell. Why would I not want that? Statistically, unmarried women without children are the happiest demographic as well. I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound bad to me at all. Oh my God, who hurt you for you to be saying all of this? No one, babe. You're just not used to seeing an independent woman who is happy being that way. In your head, there has to be something wrong with her. And I cannot talk about this topic without talking about the fact that the women before me were not granted the same freedom and opportunity that I had. Living the type of life that I live was not an option for them. As soon as they graduated high school, they were expected to get married and start having babies. You were supposed to be a homemaker. Your husband is the boss of you. I think that these expectations and these standards and just this idea of the nuclear family and being a little housewife is definitely a global thing. However, being Mexican and growing up in a Mexican household, I think it is very important to talk about the machismo culture, as well as the standards and the expectations that a woman is expected to maintain in this culture. And I remember very clearly growing up and saying, I will not live a life like that. I'm going to live the life that I want. And I don't want to be somebody's little obedient, subservient housewife. That's not what I want. And when women talk about being happy, being child-free, and being single, it's taken as hatred on women who want to be married and have children. I want to make it very clear that I am pro women doing whatever the fuck they want. That includes getting married and having lots of children. That includes never getting married and staying single until the day you die. But I also think it's an important conversation to have of, do you want these things? Being married and having children and being a little housewife because you truly want them, or because you have grown up in a culture that has told you that this is what you should want. Because if you see something around you all your life, you're going to think that that is normal. And again, there's nothing wrong with these things, but it's the freedom of choice that makes both of these options beautiful. And the thought of wasting my life with somebody who is not my person terrifies me. Again, people come and go, but I am my person. I definitely still struggle with my identity and loving myself, but the way that I love myself now compared to even just 2 years ago is insane. And I can definitely say that I love myself more every single day. I can't wait to see how much I love myself in 20 years. Because of the high standards that I have and the fact that I don't believe in wasting my time, I truly believe that the right person will come along. Not because I need them, but because I want them. I literally have the ideal relationship that I want on my vision board. And I know that I'll get it because I am not clutching onto it. If you believe in the law of attraction, you know that when you are holding onto something and you make it your everything and you say, oh, if I don't get this, like my life will be over. Baby, you're pushing it away from you with that energy. I have fully released having a relationship, so I'm going to have the best one. I have also written out in extreme detail, pages and pages of what I want my relationship to look like. Every single aspect of it that I could think of. I have also written out scenarios of me having that relationship, just moments in that relationship. I will meditate on that. And again, not because I'm holding on to it or because I'm desperate for it, but because it is something nice that I would like. But in my waking day-to-day life, my focus is me. Desperation pushes away every good thing from you. Every other area of my life, I can definitely say that it's true that when I have been desperate for something or just put everything riding on one thing, if I don't get this thing, my life is over. It hasn't worked out. But the areas where I'm less stressed out and I have let go, things magically work out. I get what I want. Like, there's just less resistance in those areas. And the exact same thing is true for a relationship. And to be honest, there are a lot of parts of myself that I'm still discovering and learning. I'm only 24, for God's sake. That's normal. I don't know everything about myself, and I definitely don't know everything about life. There has also been a lot of personal issues in my life, which has put dating on the back burner because I'm like, I have all these other problems to deal with. The last thing I need is somebody in my face telling me, oh, you're just not texting me enough. So a lot of people take everything that I said as me being closed off, but I'm definitely open to the right relationship. I run a strict program around here, baby. If it's not what's up on that vision board or written in my notebook, I'm not entertaining it. So because I'm open, I think that a relationship could find me in the next year or maybe the next 10 years, and I'm okay with that. And to everybody watching this who has also never had a partner, I want you to know that there is nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. Don't let people tell you that there's something wrong with you just because you've never been in a relationship, because there is so much more to life than dating. There is so much more to life than having a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And remember not to lose yourself in the desire for a relationship that you forget to live your life. There's 7 billion people on the planet, babes. There's somebody for you, and somebody that you will be in love with and will be in love with you. But don't be so anxious to find them, because they'll be on their way when the time is right. And there's no better energy for attracting everything that is right for you than loving yourself and being happy with yourself. I tried to make strawberry matcha, but it just looks like matcha because my cold foam just sunk into my matcha. I love you and you're beautiful. Bye.